it's Kevin and Taylor, and we're so thrilled to be hanging out with Danny Gokey. Thanks for being here, Danny.
Hey, guys.
This is so fun. It's been a while.
Forgot my microphone. Danny, who is directly here from his kids' field day.
Field day today.
Yeah, tell us more. Like, are you hot,
there was a lot of
sweaty?
sun, a lot of sweat.
You look fantastic. You don't.
Oh,
look
I
like
appreciate it. I just knew I couldn't come to the field day in like some heavy clothes, and so I had to put the shorts off and on. I was like, I hope, and thinking, I was like, I have to go from the field day to the interview. I hope they're okay with this.
Yes.
you look
well, you're on
fantastic.
trend with the matching. It's a
Got
short
the
set.
yeah, the short set. With the matching New Balances.
And
Very
did you
nice.
you didn't have to do anything, like, obviously you're dry, you didn't get in a dunk tank.
I didn't.
Or any...
As a matter of fact, we were just sitting there, and all the teachers getting conversation. Then they start playing my music, and then I'm,
Get out.
yeah, because they have music blaring, and so some of my songs, they put some of my songs.
I
on.
was wondering so how did the kids react to
Well, I'll get, hey, Danny Gokey. And my son's name is Danny Gokey as well. One of the teachers came up to me and she goes, I got to tell you an embarrassing story. She goes, when your son was in my third grade class, she said, that's when your Jesus People album came out. And she said, I was listening to your album. And she said, your son's in my class. I made no correlation that the guy I was listening to. And she said, did you have the same name? And it wasn't until mid-year that someone said, hey, can you play Danny's dad's music when she took requests in class?
Oh,
and she goes,
funny.
who's his dad? And she goes, oh.
That didn't
She
click.
told me that today, and I was laughing
I
so
love that
hard.
she was willing to out
Yeah.
herself, because that's pretty embarrassing.
I was really offended, and I walked away and came here to my
Right.
interview. This is my vent therapy session. Why don't they know me? I was laughing.
No, I'm glad you brought up field day, because I'm dying to know. You have the most beautiful wife and most adorable kids. Give us an update, ages, how's everyone
Okay,
doing?
so it's Danny 11, Victoria 9, Gabriel 6, Emmanuel 4.
Who was the field day for?
All the kids, because they're all at the same school.
Oh, okay.
So it's a like a tutor co-op. What do you call it? Like a couple days at school, a couple days at home.
Oh, yeah, a
Tutoring.
homeschool co-op
Yeah,
or
co-op.
whatever. Yeah,
So it's that
cool.
situation. Wife is great. She's 38. Probably shouldn't say that.
No.
You
You
got
didn't want her age,
Edit.
no?
edit.
Cut. Very good looking 38, I'll tell you that.
She's gorgeous. And she seems to really embrace social media, too.
Oh, man, too much. I've noticed that people like her more than like me. I'm just the eye candy, guys. I'm just the eye candy. She's the meat for the social media.
Well, take us back, Danny. 2010 is where we all learned who Danny Gokey is. But
2009.
2009. Oh, we're a year off.
Do you
Okay.
even know who I am? I'm Danny. Good to meet you. Just
As a matter of fact, we do. We have your Danny Gokey coffee mug. Show them what
Great. Oh, I love it. You guys have my mug?
we destroyed our Danny Gokey coffee mug by mistake.
We were just talking about how
make it.
2024 has not been very kind to Danny Gokey.
I
And
think I
this,
just almost cut myself on it.
Lord, I thank you. This is not a representation of your blessings over my life.
No, we had all good intentions.
Yes.
Drinking out
We're
of this
hoping-
while we...
We were hoping
Can
to
I
carry
say
those
who-
around with you.
Can I say who broke it? Because usually I'm the accident-prone one on the show. And
It was me. It was me.
Daddy's coming. Ah! I told you I didn't want him on my show.
In some cultures, it's good luck to break the cookware.
yeah,
and
in Greece,
yeah,
right? Oopa.
yeah, oopa.
Whatever you said.
Trying to embrace
I know, it's
it.
like, is that culture here in America? But it does look like some kind of like specialty, like soup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there
And
you
then
go.
Don't-
cut
please
your
don't
lips
cut
and
it.
you're
Ergonomically
bleeding.
correct.
Here, I'll put this over here because
Okay,
we're
so
all
this
gonna
needs a
hurt
hospital.
Way
ourselves.
back in 2009, when there was no such thing as Danny Gokey coffee mug, that was in your wildest dreams. Take us back to there, and you're on the cusp. You didn't know it of being having a recording career,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
a
like,
performing career.
did you know this was going to happen? Like, did you?
Oh, yeah,
think,
totally.
I'm gonna be famous someday. I'm gonna sing. Or
Well,
how did this all happen?
I do know that the Lord told me that He was going to use me. I do know that.
That's great.
And to a certain extent, I didn't know what that meant. The path that I've taken, I think it looks more glamorous than it really is, right? It is a glamorous path. But at the same time, when you walk that path and you walk the path that you start really cherishing the sacred path, the walk, the more private path. You see the jewel in the path of a private, quiet, humble. It's hard to say because I've seen both ways, and I like the glamorous path. Who doesn't, right?
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
It's
But at the same
fun.
time, you see like, wow, you can see, this path though, right here is a very fulfilling path. That path will never fulfill this path right here. That many who are listening right now maybe think that it's not the most known path, and who am I to people they don't know? Trust me, this is the path that is a very beautiful path. And so I get to see both angles, and it's like, man, I really do cherish the quiet, humble. Of course, I do like the glamour because it does bring accolades from. Did I say that right? Accolades?
Yeah.
Accolades.
I like the accolades.
Accolades. I don't even know how you say it. It brings notoriety, but nothing to compares to like that intimate walk with the Lord, right? And that raising your family, that being home with your family. I took the spring tour off because I wanted to be home.
Nice.
And it's interesting because the dichotomy of like that is I'm giving you a long answer for this one, and maybe the answer you don't want to hear, but surely, hopefully, it's helpful to someone. Love the glamorous, getting the singles up, music up there, but still cherish the private. And, and hoping that, God, I don't think creates, celebrities. I think he creates legacies and wanted to build the legacy. Celebrity comes and goes, and we see that this world builds on celebrities and idolizes it. But legacy is what Jesus left.
Yeah.
Legacy is what my eyes are set on.
Do you ever feel like there's a tension between those two things?
Oh, there is. Because social media, I mean, there's never been more time in radio where I was talking to a country artist who goes to this kid school we were talking today, and he was telling me how his single got 53 ads in country radio, which is huge. But he said there was another artist that since 1997, the first artist in country music closed the whole panel down. And this is what the world lives for. This is what makes people great. And I'm listening to him say that, I'm like, man. And I told him, I said, never has there been more competition in music than there has right now. Anything that you get is a big deal. And a lot of it, you have to work yourself on social media. Social media now is a radio station all in itself.
And you're a pro at it. Yeah, I see that.
And I'm getting ready to release a record, and I'm getting ready to revamp what it looks like. Because the trends change so fast that it's like the thing that worked yesterday doesn't work today.
Yeah.
And you got to. So it's this balance of how do I keep that quiet, peaceful, but how do I remain in a place where that my music's getting out there and I'm being a good steward of what God has given me? Because if you don't do any of it, you can write the greatest songs in the world that just sit in your house.
Right, that you sing for your wife.
Yeah.
You sing at field day.
Is it even possible for you to speculate what Danny Gokey's life would have been like without American Idol, without the music career? Like, what path were you on?
I was driving a semi just months before. I was, and I was a worship leader at church. It was a thing, and I had no idea.
Like, were you on the road, like as in days on the road?
No, I just did regional. Meaning I drove a 53-footer, a big semi, just locally because it worked with my job as a worship leader at night.
Okay.
And so I sometimes wonder, part of me was like, I needed American Idol because it helped elevate me outside of what I was going through, losing my wife. I couldn't see myself hopping back into the truck. Maybe I'm wrong. I needed American Idol brought, it's like, how can you find hope in Hollywood? Well, let me tell you this: your eyesight in life just got bigger, seeing the world from a different vantage point.
How long had it been since you've lost your wife before American Idol happened?
1 month.
Yeah, it was quick.
Holy
it was quick.
guacamole, I forgot it was that fast.
It was 1 month, and it was the last year I could try out. And it was so unexpected. As a matter of fact, I had quit my trucking job because I just didn't want to work as much as I was working. And I took a job at Cheesecake Factory. And I had just finished. Cheesecake Factory is super intense training.
Oh, the menu's a book.
It is. And the church I was working for couldn't afford to put me on full time. But even though it was a full-time job, it was 40 hours a week. But so I got a part-time pay, and I had to so I took a job at Cheesecake Factory, and that's when I got the call that day that everything went south. Because what I did is I kissed her goodbye to say for the surgery, and I didn't want to sit at the hospital. Maybe this is wrong in me, but I just didn't want to sit there and just meditate on her having heart surgery. I was like, I just got to get my mind off this. Let me just go put in some hours at work, and then I got a call, and I never showed back up. And the life dramatically changed. Everything, and people who've lost anyone, like having to go back to the apartment we lived in, and now she's gone, and I have all her clothes. Like, you're literally packing up the last parts that you had of that person. Yeah. So American Idol was, all to say this, was unnecessary get out of the bubble.
Yeah. So. Well, what you just talked about remind me a little bit, not about grief, but about being a Cheesecake Factory worker and a truck driver. Do you have a heart for people in those industries? Like, do you notice a softness about yourself when you're around People that are just working every day for their families, getting it done.
We just went to Cheesecake Factory this past week, me, my wife, and kids.
No
and I
way.
told my kids, I was like, my wife was telling them how Daddy used to work here. And they were just asking me all kinds of questions. But you really get an understanding of how intense servers work really hard.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And if they have a bad day, like if they're coming to work with a bad day, then you have to deal with people's wants, and people's frustrations because you're meeting people from all different areas coming with different dispositions. Mm-hmm. Man, it's not easy. But our waitress that day was the best. All smiles. And waiting on the Gokey family, I'm not going to say it's the easiest task. We're very specific, and we know what we want. And my son wouldn't eat his food without ketchup, but my other son got ketchup, and he's crying. I'm like, I need my server.
Wow.
I'll say this: we know what we want, but we tip well. You know what I'm saying? So
I want to go back to, you said it was 1 month from when your wife passed away to American Idol beginning, right? It was just 1 month time. I know me, if that would have been me, I'd be thinking like, wow, I wonder what she would think of all this. You know, that she was there with you all the way up to that point. What do you think she would think of all this?
She was the one that was the big American Idol fan. I remember, I never got to watch it because when I worked at church, I'd be at the church. It was 2 churches. I'd be at church every night and working the semi job in the day. So she would go watch American Idol at her parents' house. Finally, when we got our apartment, we got DVR to record it. That's when I started watching it, and I got hooked. But she wanted me to go on it. I remember one of her birthday gifts that she wanted was a Taylor, who's the one that won? One of the gray-haired guy. He won American
I know
Hicks.
you mean, right, Taylor
Hicks.
Yeah.
I had to go buy his album. I'm at Walmart in my truck driving clothes, buying her the album because he was called the Soul Patrol.
Right, the Soul Patrol, right?
And,
I remember that.
I bought a record, never ever knowing that I would 2 years later, is it 2 or 3 years later, be saying goodbye to her and trying out and being on the stage. So I know that when she got to heaven, that the Lord showed her the fruit of her life and part of the legacy that she was going to leave. Because I shared the story on there, and so you can imagine that the Bible calls them the great cloud of witnesses.
Yeah.
And they're surrounding us, so they're cheering us on, but they ain't missing what's going down here because it's so good up there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, the artistry that you have, I mean, the dance moves, the singing. You recently released Todo El Mundo.
Todo El Mundo. Yeah.
And I fell in love with it from the first time.
Say it again. I like the way you said it.
Todo El Mundo.
Todo El Mundo.
Todo El Mundo.
Yeah. I got to go back to my.
Todo El Mundo.
Oh, tell us about that. That is so fun.
So you got this white guy who grew up always as like the only white guy around mostly Latin and black culture. So my upbringing.
And where was that?
Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Okay.
And people are like, really, Milwaukee? I said, if you look at the breakdown of Milwaukee, you see that it's very diverse. And
It's a fantastic city, by the way.
Yeah.
We went there for a week last year, and we're blown away.
I love the food scene, just love that city. But I was just around music. I was around country music, Christian music, Spanish music, anything you think of. And so when you get Danny Gokey, you just don't get this one lane, which made me feel a little bit in my walk as I grow through music through years. I feel a little bit insecure because I'm like, you have to have this lane. And someone came up to me and someone prayed for me one time, and I love this. This really ministered to me. She said, because she just had a real prophetic voice, and you may believe this or not. She said, the Lord said, I was praying for you, and the Lord said that you don't fit in a box, and you're not supposed to fit in a box. She said, the Lord said, you'll walk into a room, and you'll be able to reach these people. And he said, you were never meant to fit in a box. And she said, the stone God gave me, because the stone's in the priest's garments, she said was a beryl. And she said, if you look at beryl represents many different stones. It's one of the stones in the priest. If you look at Levitical priest, they had all the 12 stones, I think, represented. Beryl stone was just a mix. She just ministered to me so much praying for me that day, because when I make out, like this next album is called Sound of Heaven, and when I say Sound of Heaven, it's because of the diversity of the sound.
Oh, how fun.
And
can't wait.
Todo El Mundo being one of them. That's an Afrobeats and reggaeton all mixed up with a white guy singing in Spanish and English.
So much fun. And the video.
Yeah,
you must have had so much fun making that.
Have so much fun. And my kids are mixed. They're Latin in white, American, I don't know how to say it. What's the proper?
Caucasian.
2024, I better. From the mountain, what do they call it? From the Caucasus Mountains. Cat Williams said that. Anyways, and I see them speaking Spanish, and I love it. My in-laws are with me. They only speak Spanish. I just think this is what the world looks like. And if you pay attention to the United States, Latin, by 2050, will be the predominant culture.
Absolutely.
Latinos. And so we better get on board speaking Spanish. That's all I got to say. I do it. So.
Well, you and your band, when you're traveling, you guys have a lot of fun, especially not on stage, but off stage. The last thing in the world you'd think a band would want to do is sing. But you guys love to sing all the time. Tell us about that.
Well, I mean, it's what we are. We do music. This is not it. So my first wife, beautiful person. I was telling this yesterday to somebody because I whistle and I make a lot of noise. And someone was taking me somewhere, and they noticed I was making musical noise. They goes, "You do that a lot?" I said, "I do." And I said, my first wife used to get so, and she's very kind. So she'd look at me, she'd go, "Danny, you sing all the time. Is there any point where you just don't sing?" And I was like, I guess I could give her a break. So then I went to whistling, and so it's just
it still had to come out.
It comes out in the same thing as with my band. It just comes out everywhere.
You guys were doing Disney covers and Chicago songs.
Oh, yes.
Recently.
Dude. I'm about to do some Disney covers. I need to do it. I need to find time to do Disney covers and Chicago covers. I just love music, and I could crush some Disney. I'm not trying to. If my arm was long enough, I'd pat myself on the back, but I really can't.
Do you want to give us a little sample? What's one of your favorite Disney songs?
I don't. You go to my Instagram. Man, I'm not ready, I guess. I got to. I have to usually be in the mindset. I know that sounds crazy,
What's one of your favorite Disney movies?
Aladdin probably was one of my favorite. But now even
Show You the World.
Yeah, that one. Encanto. You heard Encanto?
Oh, yeah.
My kids love Encanto.
What about favorite Chicago song? Chicago,
hey? So, okay, I'll be honest. The songs that we sang on that thing, I don't know much Chicago. I just know they have good music. The one is Can't Fight This Feeling. That's not them, is it?
No,
What's
that's
the one
Can't Fight This Feeling is REO Speedway.
REO Speedway. Who's the
Another
one?
Midwest band.
You're the meaning in my life.
Yeah, you're
That
the
one.
meaning of my life. You're my inspiration. That's my falsetto.
That was good.
It's falsetto. It's the fake voice.
Coming right from field day to falsetto. That's
You'd be
impressive.
surprised at how long it takes me to warm up to get this beast going. It's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, I can sing. You just don't want to. It's not going to be that good.
I think you just came up with a band name.
Yeah?
Field Day Falsetto.
Oh, I like it.
Field Day
That's
Falsetto,
fun.
starring Kevin Taylor and Danny.
And if you could indulge us, okay, this is tough to talk about, but can you just give us a minute and honor your friend Mandisa?
Oh, yeah.
We miss her so bad. And you got to go honor her on the show, on American Idol. Was that you know grief more than anyone.
Yeah.
First your wife, now your bestie. I mean, we're just going to miss her so much.
Yeah, it was shocking more than anything.
Still is, yeah.
I ended up getting. We were doing a worship night at my house one night, and right after the worship night finished, I see my pastor calling from my church, Henry Seeley, but I was talking to people at my house, and then 2 minutes later I see Natalie Grant call me, and I go, something's up. So I walk away from people at my house, and I walk outside. I said, "Hey, now." She goes, "Danny, are you in a place where you are you sitting down? Can you be in a place where?" I said, "Natalie, what's going on?" She goes, "They found Mandisa dead." Dude, I mean, it just knocked the wind out of me. And
I'm so sorry.
she was very gracious. Natalie was very gracious how she broke the news, and I couldn't believe it. And so there was a few people at my house that did life with her. So I waited for the people to trickle out, and I just told them individually. I mean, it was just unbelievable. I mean, you don't expect that. But with Mandisa, though, how do you gauge that? Because for me, it's regret. I wish I would have reached out more. I wish I'd have checked down on her more. I wish I'd have, shoulda, woulda, coulda, right? Mm-hmm. But it happened. And all I could do is honor the life that she lived. I mean, we did about 5, collectively, I think I toured her 5 or 6 times.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and she was such a vibrant person.
Yeah.
She was a people promoter. Mm-hmm. She was a champion of people, which I always thought was just a beautiful thing. Because in music, a lot of times there can be that insecurity of, oh man, so-and-so's doing better. She loved when people did better than her. And it's like, it makes you want to be like, I want to be just like that. You know? Champion of people.
Yeah.
Champion of hope and her whole story.
Yeah. She made such an impact even on us radio people. I mean, she was just like this bright light and encourager, even when we just had her on the show or met her at a restaurant before
Well,
the
and she
show.
was for the whole country on American Idol, too.
Yeah.
I mean, she just really did that. Idea. There should be a collection of her friends from the music industry should do a cover of Overcomer.
Yeah, I kind of wish we would have sang that on American Idol. It was Overcomer, because that was her biggest song.
Yeah.
But we sang that song, and it was really cool to see, if you watch the episode, just see like the pictures of her all around the studio. And I love that one of them, she was in my Rise t-shirt. And it just brought back the memory of one of the tours we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad I got her on one of my songs, though.
Yeah.
You know, so a while back, and so.
Well, thanks for taking a minute to honor
Yeah.
her, because we're just going to miss her so much. And moving forward to your new project, you said it's going to feel like heaven. It's going to be what song are you kind of most excited about, or you can't wait to perform in concert?
Oh, man. Actually, the title track, Sound of Heaven, is a really awesome song. I think I wrote it with Matthew West and Jordan Sapp, another producer. And I think it's really good. I got a song coming out this week called Wannabe. And every essence of the word wannabe. I got some of those Latin songs. I got some worship on it.
Okay.
Because I started as a worship leader.
Yeah.
I got a song I wrote to the culture. That I wonder how people respond to that one.
Ooh,
It's kind of
that's
addressed.
What's that one
exciting.
called?
It's called Makeup.
Okay.
And I went and heard a preacher speak about how the devil puts on makeup to hide what he's doing. And then he gave the illustration. I didn't realize this, but it's in the scriptures. Jezebel's last act she did before she was killed was she put makeup on her face. And he correlated this. And then when I heard him in Atlanta preach this message, I said, I'm writing that song. And so the whole thing is, wake up. I think the devil's trying to play us. He's mesmerized with the makeup, but it's made up. Open your eyes. Stop buying all the lies. You know? Because evil is dressing up to fool the people. It's got all the saints on pins and needles because truth's illegal. So I'm wondering how that's going to... Because I feel like as music, you're supposed to address the culture. And I feel like there's a nervousness to do that. I'm not saying offend the culture. And so the songs, it's very theatrical. Because it starts out with that, I know what I'm about to speak. It's, I know, but what is it? I forgot, but it's what I'm about to speak might make some enemies, but it means too much to me. So why don't we just pull up a seat, straight talking you and me, what's happened culturally? They say if it looks good, then it must be a little lipstick and you can't see the monsters hiding underneath. But we're out cold in a woke dream while the thief is taking everything. So I'm really hoping that somehow, like this past year.
I feel like I'm at Hamilton. This is so good. This is fun.
Well, I wrote songs last year about our country. My wife was kicked out of a communist country, her family. So to me, there's this dichotomy because there's a super unpopularity of like, I don't want to offend the culture, right? You don't want to do that because they're not asking you for your opinion. But what if, because right, I can tell people you're going to hell right now, and they're like, hey, my day is living hell right now. I don't need that from you. But how do we slide in? Through music, you can kind of slide the message in, and it gets past the brain barrier to the heart barrier and makes them like,
Consider.
Because Satan didn't come up to Eve with a baseball bat and like, boom, eat the fruit. It was ideology. So ideology is what we're having a war on culturally. So ideology is what we have to put in our music, but our ideology is the ideas of heaven. So if we can stick that into the songs, we can make people think a little bit and say, all right, maybe those ideas are wrong, but these ideas are truth, which could set us free. So you didn't ask for all that, but
I
was
can't wait
great.
for the
That
new
was great.
project.
Can't
And
wait for it to
if
come out.
anyone wants to stalk Danny and his family, let's go to Cheesecake Factory.
we'll be there. I
They'll
might
be
even
the
work.
loud family in the big corner booth.
Asking for ketchup.
Right. For their cheesecake.
Yeah.
Danny, thank you for being on with us.
Yeah,
We
thank
really
you so
appreciate
much.
it.
Taylor, I'm sorry I couldn't sing today.
It's okay.
it's okay.
I put you on the
I'm a
spot.
people
Next
pleaser, and I feel like I let you down.
No,
So
I'll
I'll
follow
warm
your
up.
Instagram.
If you can do
I
something
got
about
it.
our broken mug, then that'd be great.
Yeah, that's why I didn't sing. That's my broken mouth.
Danny Gokey, everybody.
Bye, guys.